Hello everyone, it's Voodoo, and in today's video, we'll be going over the Serrated Glaive build and why you should be playing it in Raid after the most recent buffs to Havoc Demon Hunter. So if you're not aware, recently the buffs came out on Tuesday. They were, put in the game. Before that, I think like Friday they announced them. I had a video up on Sunday, link in the description if you want to know that. Here's a short synopsis, a little screen cap of what those changes were. But the big important one is 15% to Chaos Strike and Annihilation damage. Obviously, if you buff one, you buff the other. And that was pretty big. So why is that big? Well, that's big because it actually ends up buffing this build a lot more. Now, some of you who've been around for a while might recognize this as the Serrated Glaive build. We've changed something here. So looks can kill no longer sims better than Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory being fixed, as well as the buffs to Serrated Glaive end up pushing it further. So today, we're going to talk about this and talk about if you should actually be playing it in the raid. Before we do that though, this has been helping out a lot recently, but if you like the content, make sure you go down and like the video before you hit play on anybody's video, any content creator, not just me. If you want to see a content creator succeed, going down, hitting the like button is the easiest, most free way of doing supporting your favorite content creators before you watch their videos. It's been helping the channel a lot recently, so thank you guys. Keep doing that, keep hitting the like button, and if you want to go a step further, comment and hit the sub button as well. So, that out of the way, let's get into this. So what is Serrated Glaive? Now this build popped up towards basically midway through 10.1's PTR cycle, whenever they ended up changing the Serrated Glaive. Before, it would just increase the damage enemies took from I-Beam by 20% whenever you hit them with Throw Glaive, and it was just a worse version of Blind Fury. However, they ended up changing it and made it also increase Chaos Strike damage, and what that did was actually make it a viable pick, as well because you go down and pick up Relentless Onslaught, which just gives you more Chaos Strikes. So, essentially with this build, you're throwing out a ton of Chaos Strikes. Now, we'll get to Sims and stuff later. We'll talk a little bit about theory and rotation first. But a few things have changed. So one, they buffed Chaos Strike by 15%. That makes these two talents way stronger. Also makes Chaos Theory way stronger because you will always crit with that Chaos Strike. It's very common to have that Chaos Strike in your Essence Break window right after your first Death Sweep. Do 100,000 to 150,000 DPS. More so if you can get double hits. So that Chaos Strike buff is very meaningful and actually has Havoc simming really high now. There's some parses too on some of the early bosses of Havoc doing over 140k DPS. We'll show those too. We'll get over towards the end of the video. So this is the build now. I'll post a build link in the description. Now I don't have Bouncing Glaives, but I do think Bouncing Glaives is probably worth it to take over some of the other options here, just in case there's multiple Havocs in your raid, because Fodder the Flame is very fun. Anyway, so on top of the 15% buff, we also have a bit of a refinement to the theory behind when to throw your Serrated Glaive out. There's a weak aura that sort of works for this. I don't use it personally. Ravatha from the Demon Hunter Discord made it. I'll link in the description if you guys want it. Basically just tells you to use it before I-Beam. But basically this build is much better now. It sims really, really high, and again, we'll get to that towards the end. But for now, let's go into a little bit of rotation and when you should do this. So for those of you who have been around for a bit, beforehand, the old Serrated Glaive logic was basically to throw Serrated Glaive right before you I-Beam, and then to throw it to cleave your demon down, and then to throw it when you have nothing else to push and you're out of range, etc, etc. Now that's been changed and refined a bit. Now the first two things are still true. You want to have the Serrated Glaive buff on your target whenever you I-Beam, and you do want to glaive down your demon, but there is a new one. Basically, at any time you're inside Metamorphosis, so in the actual CD, or with Demonic through your I-Beam, you want to have the buff up. Now that's going to happen outside of meta, like the cooldown, whenever you throw your glaive before the I-Beam. While you're inside your Metamorphosis cooldown, you want to make sure that the debuff is always up on your target, and you want to refresh it every time the duration is 5 seconds or less. There's a reason for that, and that's called pandemicking. Certain debuffs, buffs, and dots, and hots, I guess, so anything that happens over time or it happens over a period of whatever, in the game, if you reapply them whenever there's roughly 30% of their duration remaining, you actually apply that to the new one. So we can see here, if I throw a glaive out, it happens for 14 seconds. Now, if I'm going to throw another glaive out here, you can see it goes up to 19 seconds. So what it's doing there is it's taking some of the remaining duration, 30% of the original duration, and adding that to the new one. So if we end up reapplying this whenever it's roughly 5 seconds or so, watch it count down here, 5 seconds, boom, it'll go back up to 19, and that's the maximum duration that Serrated Glaive can hit. See here, it's at 15, it goes up to 19. So whenever the debuff is on the target and we're in Metamorphosis, then you want to make sure you reapply it so that we get it in that 5 second window. So you see it's taken down here. Let's say I'm in meta, 5 seconds, boom, throw my glaive out, reapplies back up to 19. So in practice, what does that look like? So I'm not going to do a full thing here because obviously, you know, it's pretty simple to just explain this with words and text on screen. But let's say I'm in meta here. We'll do my full little opener here. Brush over here, boom, make sure I have enough fury. I-beam, annihilation, backflip, essence break, death sweep, meta, death sweep, annihilation twice. Hunt, guy formed, glaive, less than 5 seconds, glaive, I-beam again. And we just go through and we end up doing a normal rotation. And then anytime it ends up dipping below 5 seconds, we're going to throw a glaive out. So you see here, 6, we're going to backflip and then throw a glaive. Oh, my glaive can go off. Throw a glaive, boom, back up. So anytime it's below 5 seconds, we just end up using it. And it basically just means we throw out a lot more Chaos Strike damage than before. Here, I'm not going to glaive because I don't need to. But after this, we'll glaive. Boom, back up to 18 seconds. So it's not too complex a rotation. Basically, while you're in meta, keep it up at all times. Reapply it whenever it's around 5 seconds or less. But otherwise, it's not too serious to keep up. It's not too bad. So I'll keep going until we drop meta so I can show you guys what it's like then. But basically, Annihilation is going to be a large chunk of your damage now. Almost like a crazy amount of your damage is going to come from Annihilation, honestly. It just does so much now. We have so many different stacking buffs on it. But honestly, Death Sweep doesn't even do that much anymore. Nowhere near as much as it used to. Obviously, Chaos Strike's still good. So here we're going to drop out of meta, so I'm not going to reapply it. So here, we'll just keep going until my next I-beam window. So let's say, in theory, here we go. Oh, about to enter my I-beam. Okay, glaive on the target. Another demon spawn, so I'll glaive that down too. You always want to do that pretty much. Then we go in, we I-beam. We do our little backflip, essence break, death sweep, and then we keep going here. And we can see here that this is going to just be up the entire duration of my meta. So we don't really have to reapply it during our I-beams. So really the only time you're ever going to reapply a Serrated Glaive in combat is if you have a demon to glaive down or you're in your actual Metamorphosis cooldown. Throwing your glaive before I-beam should be enough to have it last the whole time. So that's the new kind of theory behind when to Serrated Glaive. Now let's go over into the sims and work off logs and stuff and take a look and see if this build is actually worth playing. Spoiler, it will be worth playing. It's very, very good. So I will be right back. Alright, so here we are with some sims. Now this is a Chaos Theory old build sim, 149,000 DPS. Scroll down here, Restless Hunter is only roughly 780, so DPS behind that. So they're both fairly close to each other. This is with Mastery Gems, it seems. Mastery Haste, sorry, because you just have so much crit. Now, if we look over, though, at the brand new build, now this is a little bit lower. This build has Looks Can Kill instead of Chaos Theory. Just what happens, you know, with expert mode stuff like this. But it is higher using Chaos Theory, and then Sealed Under Chosen is actually pretty good still. But anyway, so this build is very, very, very good. So roughly a few thousand DPS higher than the other best one. This build is very good, performs better. This is also a much bigger DPS gain. I believe with this one, it's roughly 54,000 DPS. So it's very, very high. But you're probably wondering, okay, Voodoo, we've seen this before. You know, we've seen the sims be really good. Both these sim very well, but it doesn't perform as well in game. Well, let me introduce you to non-external buff Kazara ranks. Okay, so this is on Mythic. Non-external buffs, because PI is cringe and Havoc will never get it in a million years, so whatever. We look, hey, there's a Havoc here, 13. What? 146,000 DPS. 13th place. Okay, so one did really well, that's interesting. Not even Bomb, by the way, they have Beacon and Pocket Anvil. Let's scroll down a bit. Okay, oh, hey, I know this guy, Shadow Wreck. 37th, 140,000 DPS. Beacon and Anvil. Guess what he's playing too? Serrated Glaive. This guy up here, Serrated Glaive. Keep scrolling. Another Demon Hunter, 42. 140,000 DPS. I don't know if there's another Demon Hunter. Another one down here, 136,000 DPS. Another one here, 135,000 DPS. So, what it seems to me is that this build performs very, very well. Now, of course, if we include external buffs, it'll be a bit before you find a Havoc, considering all these buffs have PI. Everything here has PI. If we keep scrolling, you will eventually find yourself a Havoc Demon Hunter. 139th, you know, not the best, but again, you know, all of these things here have multiple power infusions. So a little hard to beat that, but it is what it is. So Havoc's doing really well with this new build. Now, I haven't checked Amalgam Chamber or anything like that. I was just looking at Kazara. I guess we can look here now with me. Look at me, video research with you guys. Now, this one will be a little, you know, Shadow Priest, Destro Warlock leaning because of the cleave they can do. So probably not the best one. Also, not sure if we can see many Rashok parses. I don't know what was looking like for clear. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Second non-external parse debuff. Sorry, non-external, whatever. No power infusion. Force to DH. Probably find some more. Yeah, there's another one. Here's some more. Here's some more. So this build is performing very, very well in game. Now, I don't want to look at heroic or anything because who cares about heroic? But if you combine it with like the sim, obviously 154,000. We're still over simming by roughly 14k, probably a bit more. Obviously, this guy's probably not perfectly biffed. He's only at 444. But we can see that this build performs very, very well in practice, which is insane. Beforehand, you weren't really seeing Serrated Glaive perform as well in practice. I think the change to Serrated Glaive logic, as well as the buffs, now it would be better with Chaos Theory, the sim as well, but as well as the buffs, have made this one of the top options. Now, I will say, I don't think you should play this in the last two bosses. You can, if we look down at Echo, you can play this in the last few bosses, but realistically, Restless Hunter is going to be a bit better in terms of overall for you. Now, if you need something like, you know, boss damage, Havoc can bring that. If you look at damage to bosses, we might actually be able to see maybe Havoc pop up somewhere. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But yeah, we're probably not going to find Havoc here. But it's certainly actually no here. We can find some damage to bosses. It's fine. Force to DH. It's fine. Hey, I know this guy, by the way. I think Shatterack was down here somewhere. So the build's not as good in something like a multi-target fight, but it is still usable. So if you need boss damage in the last two fights, you can definitely go with this build. I would recommend playing Restless Hunter in the last two, though, and on any fight with like Ads or Cleave. But on all these single-target boss fights, this build is going to be very, very good. Things like Kazara, things like Amalgam Chamber, things like Rashok, Magmarax, even Zaskarn, because the golems... Like, yeah, you could kind of do it with the golems, but at the same time, you're not really getting a lot of Restless Hunter value there because they don't really spawn when you have your meta combo. Now, there's a bit of, like, I-beam stuff, but there's not many of them. So, Zaskarn's a bit of a toss-up, but I don't think that fight's going to be very hard anymore anyways. So this build, very, very good. Again, I'll swap back to Kazara, where we can see Havocs kind of just pop off a bit. So, boom, number 13 Havoc. So, that's good. So Havoc might actually be back on the menu. This build might actually be a bit of a savior to us. We'll see what happens, but Havoc could be in a good spot. We'll have more updates on this as they come out. Obviously, you guys know I'll do my best to keep Havoc up to date for all you guys. But that is going to be it for the video today. I just want to talk about this. So what do you guys think? Do you think Serrated Glaive is back on the menu? You guys want to try this out? Now, obviously, I understand if you don't want to play this. The opener's a bit clunky. You do have to get enough Fury. But otherwise, I think the build is pretty doable now. It's pretty good. And the results are honestly kind of astonishing how well it's doing. So let me know down below if you think it's good, if you think this is a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a weird little data blip. I don't think it is. I think this is a real build. And I'll see you guys next time in the next video. So good luck with your raids. Good luck with everything. I'll be streaming Echo Prog tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. New video out Friday after this one. So good luck, everybody. Go slam the raid is with this new build. I'll link it in the description. And we'll see you guys next time. So peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. 121, Payne, James, Evangel Faraz, Oxclamation, It's Bulk, and Flapjack67. A big thank you to you guys. You guys help make this channel what it is and help to support me along every step of the way. If you guys want to become a channel member, support me while also getting some cool perks like emojis in comments and live videos, VOD reviews, exclusive access to the Discord, and help shaping the channel, as well as tons more stuff. And consider becoming a channel member with the link in the description below. Once again, thank you, everybody. Now have a great week. Peace.